Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Lenovo laptop. This is a Lenovo Legion 5 Pro. The exact model is a 16ACH6H. That information can be found on the bottom of the laptop if you flip it over, and it should be tattooed, engraved right on top. It says right here model name Legion 5 Pro, and right beside it will give you the exact model number, which is a 16ACH, I think it's 6H. Alright, and in this video I'm gonna go over how you can open it up and how you can clean the fan system, repaste, and pretty much to do a maintenance on your laptop. If you find that your fans are spinning like a jet engine or just overheating a lot, you should open it and clean it. You should be doing your own servicing once every year and a half at least. If you are hardcore gaming or using it under lots of stress all the time, 6 to 8 hours a day, you might want to do it every 8 to 9 months. All right, so I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using, and then we're going to get started doing the service. Tool number one is a good screwdriver set. I'll recommend you to get one of the iFixit screwdriver sets, and they have one of the best screwdrivers out there. I got this basic one with a screwdriver, but if you get the Pro set, they will include you with an opening tools and tweezers. If not, just grab yourself for opening tool a guitar pick. A metal guitar picks are suitable to opening cases and covers. A straight or curved tweezer, pointy, plastic spatula. You need a workshop towel. 1 sheet or 2 sheets of the workshop towel. And alcohol, 99%, 98% at least isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol. The reason for this workshop towel and not microfiber towel is because when you put alcohol on this towel and you clean over the components, this thing will rip apart really easy and will not damage the components on the board. So that's why I always say use this one. Don't use microfiber towels. They can tangle around the tiny capacitor components and they can rip them apart. Use workshop towel. All right. A good thermal paste. So I highly recommend for these high-end laptops to use Thermal Grizzly, Cryonaut, and Liquid Metal. For this brand, they're one of the best. So we're gonna open it up and see what we have under the hood. All right, if I'm missing anything, soft toothbrush is a good to have. A medium soft toothbrush to clean the fan. All right, I'm not missing anything, so let's get into it. So first thing first, we're gonna grab a Phillips number 0. We're gonna remove all the screws. There's 2 screws on the side mid and 4 screws on the back rod. And there's 4 small screws in the front. Keep the front ones in a separate piles, and the sides and towards the back, they're all the same size and height. So don't worry about mismatching them. You will know these short ones are the front end, and the medium or whatever long, are the rest of the place. I'm gonna remove all of them. Also, if you guys like my videos, if you find my videos helpful and helping you guys out, you can support the channel by clicking the like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. I appreciate that. I'm just gonna quickly remove all the screws. All these long screws are the same size, so don't worry about it. You don't need to know exactly the location. So there's 2 types of screws, the long ones and the short ones. All right, now we're gonna grab the opening tool. And right away, I know that there's a motherboard right in here because I can see the I/O side over here. And I know there's a fan system and there's a dock exhaust right to the sides. And towards here, there should be almost nothing. There's speakers, and towards the front, there's a battery. And this is an opening tool. All the opening tools you can get a plastic one, but they really break and they're not too good. And we're gonna use this metal one, 0.3 millimeter. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start from the front end. I'll put this towel right underneath so I don't scratch. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start from one corner. We're gonna stick it right in there, about 2 or 3 millimeters right in there, the opening tool. And we're gonna twist it like that, and you're gonna hear that click sound. Now you see that tiny opening. You wanna do this same thing. If it goes back down, just keep doing it and put your finger in there so it doesn't go back down. All right, keep doing this rotation. It's taking about 2 or 3 millimeters in. I'm not the whole guitar pick. You're gonna hear those clicks sound. That's normal. That's what you wanna hear. All right, now that I got the tension, there's a little tension in here, and it's not going back down. So we're gonna come to the side in here. I'm not gonna lift this part up, otherwise I can break the plastic right in here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go underneath this hook right here, this square right there. Let me see if you guys can see it right there. Where the screen is, you want to go there and you just want to lift it up like that. And look how easy it makes. Just like you want to go all the way to this corner, and that's it. You want to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see if it's going to focus. So I got this side open, and I'm going to go right under the grill, right there, and then twist. There we go. Go there and twist. And there we have it. So what you want to do right now is to put it down, grab the front end, bring it up, wiggle it around a little bit, and push it towards the back so you can scoop the back edge. You want to hear tiny clicks from the back, that's what you want to do. Then the reason I didn't want to open up from here, I could create a short on the components here if you make pushing a lot, so that's why you don't want to stick the guitar pick toward this part. You don't want to create any stress on these ports. And in here, there's nothing too short. In here, it's safe. All around in the front end, it's safe. All right, so there's the bottom cover. You can take it outside and clean it, dust it off, including you can wash it out if you want, leave it for drying, but just cleaning with a toothbrush, that's more than fine. All right, down here we can see two fans and they are dirty, so you can just easily take it outside with a toothbrush, clean it and blow some dry air. Do not blow the fan when it's plugged in, otherwise you're going to create a voltage inverting to the motherboard and you can fry the motherboard. So you're always going to disconnect the fans. To disconnect the fan, first you should disconnect the battery before doing anything. So let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery, on the connect of the battery on the black side, there's a tiny hooks on the side. Let me zoom in. Let's see if you guys can see. You see that tiny hook right in here? This one right in here? And the one right in here. It sticks out about 1 millimeter. So what you want to do, you want to put your fingers on this side. Imagine this is my finger, but my fingers are really thick. So I'm going to push it back towards the battery. So I'll do it this way so you guys can see. And you want to bring it evenly. And it comes out. So you can see these tiny loops on the side. You want to grab from these hooks and you want to pull it back straight. Don't go sideways. Once the battery is disconnected, we can disconnect the fan. Don't pull on the cables on the fan. Put the tweezers on the side of the jack in here, on the white connector, and then wiggle it around, and it will release itself. So that way you don't create any tensions on the fan cable. In here is under this cover field for extra SSD storage. So we're going to remove the extra storage cover. 3 screws that hold it in. 2 screws on here and 1 right by the fan. So we remove this one, lift up the cover and put it beside it. Now we're going to disconnect. Don't pull on the cable. Just put the tweezers right in beside it. And wiggle around and it will gets disconnected. We're going to remove this SSD storage cover because it touches the fan. We need to disconnect and lift it before we will to lift up the heatsink. Remove the 3 screws on this end. And lift up the heatsink. Bring it to one side. Alright. Now what you want to do, you want to remove this whole heatsink. So let's go ahead and remove the screws that touches the fan. One right in here. And one right under the Lenovo warranty label here. To do your own servicing, you shouldn't void any warranty. If you are in the US, there's a law protecting you, and you have if you take it to a shop, they can do it without voiding your warranty. This was a long screw, this was a short screw. So you remove 1, 2, and this one was from the bottom cover. So remove this side too. Long screw and the short screw. All right. Now simply what we want to release the 3 screws for the CPU and 3 screws for the GPU right over here. These screws have a C-lock on them. That means they will not come out entirely. You just have to rotate and it just makes a click sound. Oh, I was zoomed in, so I don't know if you guys saw this. The screws right in the corner. So go ahead and rotate this one and until you hear those click sounds. and then let go. If you keep rotating, you'll be there sitting there for 5 hours rotating. So there we go. Once we got those ones in, now we're gonna grab it, release it, gently grab from the side, bring it up. You want to lift it up straight, and you want to rotate like this. Bring it to one side. All right, you can see right away there's a thermal paste for the CPU and the GPU. It is pre-dried out. It's like you see the tiny components around it here. There's a capacitor, tiny capacitors. Right, we need to clean this one up, and it is very dried in here too. Now, about for those people that want to replace the thermal pads, some of the thermal pads will be stuck to the heatsink, and some of them are stuck in there. You can always grab a 0.5 millimeter thermal pad. These are 0.5 millimeters. These are 0.5, 0.5. These are 1 millimeter thermal pads. So 1 millimeter, 0.5, and 0.5. So get a sheet of 0.5 and 1 millimeter thermal pads. You can actually see the thing. Don't put a 1 millimeter pad where 0.5 millimeter will go up, because it will push the heatsink away from the GPU and CPU, and you will get a horrible temperatures. All right. To clean it, let's make it easy. To remove the fan, you can remove the fan if you want to, but you need a little cutter. You will need to cut these sponges. Let me grab this one here. You want to cut this tape sponge right in here. You don't actually need to tape it back on, so just cut it. All right, this one is already cut right there. What you want to do, you want to flip it like this. Now you want to grab yourself a Phillips 00, and you want to remove 1, 2, 3 screws in here. These are tiny screws, so don't lose them. Well, this one might be a little bit clean, but if you haven't done servicing for yours might be really dirty. Okay, so once we have this one in, oh, I forgot one screw right in here. Make sure you don't miss any screws. Okay. There's a gaffer's tape. I didn't see this one here. So lift up this gaffer's tape from here. You can purchase a gaffer's tape and tape it, or if you don't even do it, it's okay, reuse this one. There's a gaffer's tape. You just make sure the air doesn't go over, it just goes under. You can put it, but you won't see any difference. Okay, I see one more screw right in here, so we're gonna remove this one. They should have used a chrome screw so you can see better. Alright, so I lift it up, and there we go. The fan comes out entirely, so you can take it outside, use a toothbrush, gently clean it and blow some compressed air or can air, and make sure you use a toothbrush to clean here and blow some air. If you have lots of dust in here, clean it too. This one is pretty clean, but we're still gonna dust it off. So what are we gonna do here? We're gonna do the same thing. Remove the screws. You cannot remove the fan without removing the heatsink. You will need to remove the heatsink in order to clean up the fan. So I get lots of people asking me, can I remove the fan without removing the heatsink? And the answer is no. Okay. So there's one more screw right in the front under the cable. There we go. And there's your second. All right, I'm gonna take this one outside, and I'm gonna just blow some air, clean it with a toothbrush, and I'll be back, and we're gonna do a repasting. All right, I took them outside and I cleaned it up with a toothbrush nicely. So we're gonna put them back on. So let's see which one goes where. This one goes right in here. So I'll put that one in there. And this one goes straight right over here. So let's put the 3 tiny screws for this one. I mean 3, 4 for each. You don't have to go really tighten up the screws with this plastic. Just make sure it reaches, and that's it. You don't want to go crazy. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws on this one, and 4 screws on the other one. Now that we put the fan system, the whole thing in there, we're gonna do a repaste. You wanna grab a little bit of workshop towel. Let's just cut a little bit, and we're gonna soak it in an alcohol. The pads, you don't need to replace them unless yours is ripped or really dry, but these are really good. Still, you don't need to replace them. You're not gonna see any performance increase by replacing the thermal pads. But if your pads are really dried out, you won't want to replace them. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wipe it over the heatsink and grab the extra chunks. Make sure it's nice and clean. Do this one too. I just swiped them on the floor, so I don't want to. There we go, nice and clean. This is the copper is decolorated. You can clean this decoloration on the copper easy, and you get a little better performance and temperature drop. I'll show you in a second. But if you want to go that extra step, but if not, you don't have to. Now, in here, all you want to do, you want to clean the crystal die on the CPU and the GPU. You don't want to go ahead and clean up the rest of the thermal paste, but if you want to, you could, but it's actually no reason for you to do it. But I'll show you if you want to. For those people that will be really paranoid that they want to, you can drop one spray right on top with an alcohol. I use a flat plastic. I'm not using a metal. Wipe them. Okay. Now that we put alcohol, so we're gonna gently swipe them, but very gently, and make sure that you don't poke or damage any capacitor. So don't force it. Just let the weight of the spatula do the job and the alcohol. You don't want to go and force and damage the capacitors. Just remove the big chunks if you want to. Again, it's not necessary. But for those people that really get paranoid and they're like, oh, I want to clean up everything, sure, go ahead and do it. For my likings, I like to do it, but some people go really with the force with these things and they can damage. So I'm gonna grab a new one. I'm gonna put this to one side. I'll grab this one and gonna lift up. You can see this one rips apart easy and it won't damage the capacitors right there. So that's why I always say use this workshop towel. There you go. You don't need to go really crazy going between these tiny capacitors because that's not important. The main issue, main repasting, it's right on the main die. So you want to clean up the main die, the crystal die. So a second pass. Make sure there's no dust particles on the crystal die. Now let's do this one here. And use a dry part to do second pass. There we have it. All right, nice and clean. So what we want to do here is to grab ourselves the thermal paste. You can get a syringe or you can get a spatula, which you can put one drop in each one. If it's a rectangular, you want to put one line in the middle. If it's a square, you want to put one drop in the middle. Because I have mine is like this, it comes, it's not a syringe. So I'm just gonna swipe over and just put a big chunk in the middle and you're done. You don't need to go ahead and spread everything. It automatically is gonna just push itself around. And we have tested, we have lifted up again, and it's fine. There's no reason. You won't see any difference in temperature by doing anything else. Right, there you go. Then I'm going to clean up the rest of the thermal paste that I have in here. This is a Thermal Grizzly Extreme, which is really better than the one whatever they had in there. All right. I can see one thermal pad, it's out. And this was coming from let's find out where was this one coming from. It's from this capacitor, this coil right in here. Put it right on the coil. And there we have it. There's an old thermal paste in here. That's why you make sure the old ones are gone. Now we have everything set to go. We're just gonna flip it over. And we are gonna bring it down straight. Make sure the screw holes are matching. And release right on top. Now, to put the screws, there's an order that you can go from. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but doesn't matter because this is a triangle, so it doesn't matter wherever you start from, it's fine. If it was a 4 screws for each, you have to cross screw them. Because it's a triangle, you can just start from whichever you want. It will spread the thermal paste evenly. But if you want to be really nifty, follow the numbers. Again, there's no point for it because it's a triangle. All right. So we're gonna put these screws all the way down. You don't have to go crazy and tighten up really hard. Put the screws for the longest screws in the corner. All right. And the shortest screws goes right by the fan connector. This one is beside the fan connector. All right. Now we're gonna push in the fan connector inside the jack. Just slides in. Then it will just snap in place. All right. Now that we put this one in, we're gonna put the other connector in. Just face it and just pinch them together, and it will go to its place. We have those two in place. Now this one goes in here. Put it right on top, and this one goes on this side. And we're gonna put the 3 screws on each SSD cooler. So the screws they're all the same size and height, so don't worry about whichever you pick. And this screw holds the fan too at the same time. So now you can grab a gaffer's tape and tape them down the ventilation right in here. Or if not, I'll leave the link for a gaffer's tape in a video description. You can purchase yours, just cut yours and place a little thicker, but don't cover the fan or these exit sides. All right, once we're done with that one, we just want to grab the battery. This is very, very important. You want to align the connector in front of the jack, and then you want to push it down straight, evenly goes in. Okay, do not go sideways in. It comes out straight, and it has to go in straight in. All right, once we have those ones in, double check everything is in place. I have a little dust in there. You want to grab the bottom cover that you cleaned, and you want to scoop it from the back towards the front a little bit, about like a half a centimeters. Bring it back towards yourself, and then push the corners. Make sure you hear those nice click sounds. You want to hear those. If you see any gaps opening, just pinch them together, and it will go to its place. Now, to finish it off, we're going to put the longest screws from the mid towards the back, and the short screws towards the front end of the laptop. Again, I hope you guys liked this video and helped you guys out. If you have any question or requests, feel free to leave them in the video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and this is how you service and clean your Lenovo Legion 5 Pro laptop. Just gonna finish up putting up the bottom screws.